Welcome to Cat Woodworks. I'm Brad, and this is my take on the jointer's mallet. I'd like to apologize ahead of time for the camera angles and the lighting. That's something I'm working on, and it'll get better over time. I hope you enjoy this demonstration. So I started out with a piece of mesquite limb, and I originally wanted to know how long would it take me to get it down to being a square blank. Turns out it's about 20 minutes of planing, checking for square, using winding sticks to check for warpage. Basically just spend a lot of time planing down the limb and making sure that it's square. I'm checking to make sure that it's all about the same width across, kind of trying to make a square blank. And now I'm tapering this blank down. You want the part of the handle that goes into the mallet to be wider than the bottom part of the handle. And so I just drew some lines to form a taper, and now I'm planing down to that line. And this will allow the handle to slide through the top of the head, lock into place, and then for storage reasons you can then remove the handle and store the handle and the head separately. And there I'm creating the width of the handle so that it fits nicely in the hand. So I just cut down the excess portion of the handle, just cut it off. I want to say that I made this somewhere around 3/4 of an inch thick. And here I'm just using the cutoff piece because it's tapered now. Using the cutoff piece to set it in the vise and clean up the saw marks. So here's the head piece, another chunk of firewood. I didn't get the footage of squaring it off, but again, this is the second side I'm squaring up. So I was checking for square, marking the high spots, and I'm going to square that up and make sure that it's, I've got those two sides as a reference. So now I'm going to work on the bottom, and this is important so that we can line up the dimensions for the mortise to slide the handle through. We'll cut a mortise all the way through the head. Here comes the cute assistant. Once we get the bottom flat, I can mark out center, and that will allow us to get our reference with the handle. Here again, marking out center, referencing off the handle to define the mortise. So I use the handle and mark out on the bottom that taper, because it's going to be a different size than on the top. Now here I'm marking about halfway through on my brace and bit, on the bit, so that I know when I've got the bit halfway through the head, I want to drill in, and this basically gets rid of the majority of the material in the middle of the mortise. You can see make 2 holes from the top, and then come back and drill through from the bottom, that way you don't blow out. End up with majority of the material through the middle of the head is going to be gone, as you can see. And now you just use a chisel to take out the remaining of the waste and clean up the mortise and custom fit it to the handle. So once I got the handle fit, I decided to go ahead and do some carving. And so I printed out my logo to the correct size. I found that tracing out the line that I'm going to cut with an X-Acto knife really helps. And then just use a V chisel, a V V-gouge chisel and trace the lines. I decided to, on this image, to carve out the white. So all the white space that is seen will get carved out. It's a lot of fun to carve like this. It's pretty easy and it really makes a nice image. So now it's time to do a little carving on the handle, and I just marked out some lines of what I thought would look good. I'm doing a little texturing up here where my grip will be. So here I'm just sharpening up the V-gouge again. Keeping it sharp is important for getting nice clean lines. And now for the pretty part. Put a little oil on it and watch the grain, the figure, the carvings, all of it just pop out. I love working with Mesquite. It's got so many different colors and grain patterns. Just beautiful wood to work with. And there you have it. A joiner's mallet made from Mesquite firewood with a little bit of hand carving. Pretty simple project, but a very useful tool in a hand tool workshop. So if you like what you've seen, please click like and subscribe. Check in the description for ways to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and for my website. Thanks for watching.